Well, good morning, everybody. It's another hot one out here again today. We're in the low foothills. Today's topic is about clear cuts. We're going to actually walk down into a clear cut, and I want to talk to you about what you need to look for when you're looking at clear cuts, the age class of the clear cut, and also I'm going to show you one little detail or terrain feature that is common in clear cuts that you're going to want to look at as a calling location. So hopefully there's some information here you haven't heard that can be helpful to you. And there's also some other tips that you can glean along the way if you're paying attention. So without further ado, let's get started. You know, a few weeks ago I put out a video called Mountain Predators, Clear Cuts and Burns. And there wasn't a whole lot of information in there about the details of clear cuts and burns, really. So at the end of that video, Mountain Predators, Clear Cuts and Burns, was just kind of a humorous take on what I was trying to do, because I can't tell you how many hours of footage I had trying to relay the importance of clear cuts and burns. And so it just became kind of a funny thing at the end, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to just watch the end of the video, because I'm acting kind of stupid. But I just was taking myself way too seriously, and it just became something fun at the end. And so hopefully that'll be something you can laugh along with me, or laugh at me, I don't care, whatever. But I want to slip down into this clear cut here. This clear cut's been on my mind ever since I wanted to do something about clear cuts. And where we're going is a place I've hunted for 25, 30 years. This is real close to where I grew up hunting, and so I'm very familiar with when this clear cut was made, which is somewhere around, like I said, 25, 30 years ago. I don't know the exact date, but during the time that it was made, I was hunting in this area on top of the ridge here to the right for deer. And there's another fella, he's an older gentleman that lives just down off the mountain here. He was kind of hunting adjacent to me up here on this mountain, and he'd killed, I don't know, he had 3 or 4 dead coyotes hanging up in the tree, kind of where my hunting ground met his. And he hung them right there beside the trail, and I think that was his way of telling me, like, if you don't mind, this is my hunting area. But those coyotes were bedded just above this clear cut down here on a northeast point. And you're going to hear the words north and the words east a lot if you hang around any of my videos when it comes to talking about coyotes. There's a lot of food in clear cuts. There's a lot of game that relies on the cover of clear cuts. Coyotes rely on the cover of clear cuts for security cover. And one thing I'll tell you, and you'll see about this clear cut we're going to, see, there goes a grouse. Look at that. Right down through there. There you go. There's a food source. This clear cut we're going to, you're not even going to hardly even be able to tell it's a clear cut anymore. Those are my favorite kind. If you can't tell it's a clear cut, and it was a clear cut, and it's not more than about 40 years old, dude, new clear cuts, I ain't too bothered about. Young clear cuts, not too bothered about. But you get a clear cut that's got 15 years of age on it, what you're gonna have is a lot of sapling growth first. You know, first, when a clear cut's first made, if it was a real clear cut where a lot of stuff was taken out, man, these bugs are bad today. Whew. When it's first taken out, you'll get a lot of briars and just stuff that coyotes really don't want anything to do with. Coyotes hate briars. Bobcats, they don't seem to mind briars. Fox, gray fox, love briars. Don't seem to be bothered by briars a bit. But coyotes cannot stand briars. They hate briars. They don't like little scrubby plants that they got to go through. But as soon as that clear cut turns into a thicket of saplings, oh, coyotes are all over it. And if there's water in there, that is critical to whether or not you're going to have coyotes in there. Now, a lot of clear cuts will have these big open areas, and when the loggers were in here, they use these as like their staging area where they load the trucks and turn trucks around and whatnot. All right, guys, right down there is where that staging area for the logs was. And I want you to look down through this. This is what I mean by saplings. It's thick cover, but you can see there's starting to be a canopy again. There's a lot of shade in these clear cuts when they get to about 20, 25 years old, and they get that nice low canopy of shade. I found that clear cuts like that generally are some of the coyotes' favorite age class of clear cuts. Places like this are the main reason I come in here. Now you can see there's been some vehicles. Somebody's got access to that gate. All right, guys, very cool. I've got a few tracks here. Right there's our deer. But check this out. That right there is a bobcat. I just heard another grouse take off, by the way. And that's a good sized cat, boys. Look at that. Man, we got some big cats this year. Holy smokes. We got some big cats this year in multiple locations that I've been scouting coyotes at. I'm finding some big cat tracks. This is like the main drag of the clear cut, and there'll be these little skitter trails. Those little skitter trails, those are the real money. Those are the real trails that I really like to set up on when I'm calling a clear cut. Okay, we're getting to another point. And a lot of times on these points, that's where these laydown areas are. And this is the second laydown area. You can see we're coming up to it here. And I'm wanting to find one of these little tiny skitter trails to show you. All right. So this is kind of the back end of the clear cut here. You know, everything is from here to the main mountain, which is right over there. That's where we came from. It's a mile across there. And it's a mile across here too. But this is the last clearing where they had lay down for logs and stuff. And we gotta watch for snakes. But you can see how this area, they actually clear cut this side, which is to the east side. They clear cut it, and it's just saplings now. And these sapling clear cuts are really good. Coyotes love them when they turn into saplings like this. Yeah, right here's a skitter trail. Now, 25 years ago, the trail went right up through there. And the scar of this skitter trail is right here on the ridge. You can see right here. See how this trail goes down through here? It goes on around here. Those kind of trails right like that are excellent places to use as a pinch point. Coyotes know where these things are in all of these clear cuts, and they will use them to get around. And normally 100 yards down the ridge, 150 yards down the ridge, there's another one that's skirting along the side of this. And if you can get on a point, like where I'm standing right now, right up through there, this old skitter trail used to come right down through here and go right down along this crest of this ridge here. If you can get on these points like this, these areas are very good calling locations. That trail comes up out of there. It's a nice little crossing point below the main road here. This is a really good calling location. And like I said, you look down through here, it don't even look like a clear cut anymore. You know? It doesn't even, this is not what you think of when you think of a clear cut. But I can assure you, 20, 25 years ago, this was a clear cut. And when they get grown up like this, almost back to normal, dude, coyotes love them. You know, that's how the skitter trails were made. They go down a point and then they branch off that point. So when you hear me talking about hunting points and clear cuts, generally that's why, because the skitter trail went down that point and then branched off into the ravines. And so those points and clear cuts are often really good locations to call from. And oftentimes you can kind of see, you know, you don't want to be right on the edge where you can see everything, but you want to be back just from the edge. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to come out of that shady ravine on one of those side skitter trails. And, yep, where they meet the main skitter trail, kazing, money spot. Guaranteed. If you take nothing else away from this video, I want you to remember this one thing. Not only do the game animals know that this clear cut is here, but man knows that this clear cut is here. And most men, most women, most humans do not like tromping through clear cuts. But when you talk about getting off trail and crawling through a clear cut that's 5 to 10 years old, man doesn't do it. And the animals know that. One of the first things that grows up is briars, thickers and thorns and raspberry bushes and all kinds of thorny stuff. And no human with any common sense at all is not walking through there. And then what happens is the people that used to hunt in here, now it's a clear cut, they've done moved on and found other places to hunt. And so the human pathways through areas like this are virtually non-existent. And that is why all game, turkeys, grouse, predators, coyote, bobcat, fox, deer, bear, everything is attracted to clear cuts, because they simply don't have to worry about humans being in there, because they never go in there. Remember that. And if you can be the one human that's gone in there for the first time in 20 years with a predator call, cha-ching, bingo. I was looking for tracks so hard that I missed this on the way in. We got a little coyote scat here. Yeah, looks like an old one, maybe a new one. Yeah, old one right here. Little new one kind of scattered throughout. Very interesting. Awesome. Well, hey, it's been a good morning. And we got to head out. We got some obligations that we got to be a part of this afternoon. So I'm heading back out, and thanks for spending your time out here with me on another hike. And hopefully you learned a little something about what to look for in clear cuts. All right. Have a blessed week. And let's pray for some good weather. First week of September. We got some time off, so we're going to be after it. Talk to you then.